LinkedIn believes B2B marketing can be to brilliant, be to bold, and be to breakthrough. How? With a platform purpose-built to make B2B mean more for your business. A platform with tools to help you build better relationships with your key customers, to boost your buyer journey while building your brand. A platform with the trusted data and lead generation you need to beat KPIs, drive ROI, and stand out amongst the competition. And with the targeting tools on LinkedIn, you can reach your precise audience right down to their job title, company name, location, and more to make sure your ads are always being seen by those who matter. So get ready to be to boldly go where no marketers have gone before, because LinkedIn is where B2B is everything it can be. Rethink your B2B marketing LinkedIn ads and get a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. The worst thing about influencer marketing for scrappy small businesses is that all that fancy software is too expensive, right? Reach Influencers solves the problem. Now your small business can find, engage, and manage micro and nano influencers, the ones you can afford to work with. And Reach Influencers cost as low as $100 per month. Are you kidding me? No, it's true. Go to capturetheinfluence.com/podcast and see for yourself. Find, engage, manage, influence with software built and priced for you. More at capturetheinfluence.com/podcast. I'm Nick Westergaard, and this is On Brand, helping you tell your story. My guest this week is Bobby Gillespie.
So once we know who the brand is, right, we're looking in the mirror really hard and we're being honest and asking really deep questions and diving, really under the skin, and a little bit of therapy is involved with that. We look at the customer and we empathize and map out what the customer cares about. So we're aligning our purpose and values with the customer's purpose and values, and that makes us likable. That makes us relatable. That makes us more than a commodity. So we know who we are. We have clarity on us. We know who our customers are. We have clarity on them. And then we can put together a roadmap to activate the brand.
Bobby Gillespie, or Bobby G, is a brand growth consultant, author of the forthcoming book, Build Your Brand Like You Give a Shit, and the founder/principal at Propr Design, a Baltimore-based B2B brand growth agency. Bobby and the Propr team advise on and implement strategies that help B2B brands scale through better positioning, messaging, design, web, and marketing. They measure ultimate success by enabling and empowering their clients to succeed without them. Bobby, welcome to On Brand.
It's a pleasure to be here, Nick. Thanks for the intro.
I love that in your bio, you kind of lay it out there, because I feel like those of us in the agency and consulting business, the secret is that you're always going to need us. And you say empowering clients to succeed without them. There might be some consulting and agency types listening thinking, oh no. I want them, we want them to realize they have a problem, and then they need us forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get advised, and I have mentors and coaches and things that advise me, and they're like, why do you do that?
Yeah. That was going to be, that was my question also, but it's certainly a bold message as well.
Well, it really comes down to our values and our purpose, right? So we had a client last year who does robotics, and we learned an awesome word from them. It's Kaizen, and it means constant improvement. And we love Kaizen. We love empowerment. We love autonomy. And we love respect. And those are the things that we want to really focus on, whether you're a part of our team, a contractor, an employee, whether you're somebody the brand touches. Hopefully your audience kind of experiences these things as well, and our customers. Like we don't believe that especially in the modern era, that a business needs to be beholden to an agency to be successful. There's core facets that create the foundation that gives them the confidence to feel empowered and be self-sufficient to run their marketing. We don't want to push the buttons for our clients, right? Getting to the point that you're pushing buttons and pulling levers and things like that is a bit of a commodity, and all due respect around that. But it's, there's lots of people that are really good at that. And you can hire independent people or contractors or small agencies or even big agencies to do that work for you. But what we're focusing on is making sure that once you get to the point that you are doing those things, that you're getting the biggest impact from it. So giving our clients the assets, the tools, the clarity to go, and take their brand beyond activation into growth is really what our focus is.
So, at the risk of sounding like one of the Bobs from Office Space, so rewinding back to the beginning, what is it that this is the Bob's part that you would say that you do? Bob jokes aside,
I'm a people person, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but no. All of the Bob jokes aside. So, where do you start when it comes to brand growth? Because that is, and I love that label, because there's all important third word. There's certainly branding agencies, there's brand strategy agencies, but talk about brand growth.
Well, that's a result, right? And that's something that it should be ongoing and never ending, hopefully. But it has to be, there has to be a goal there, right? So what we try to do, we're not the only folks that have come up with this, but what we try to do is just align business goals and opportunities and vision from, the most, visionary leaders associated with the brand, and say, where are you going? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What do you aspire for? And then using that as sort of the common goal that we want to unify the entire company, from all the people to all the assets and all the strategies aligned to create a foundation to achieve those goals. So what do I do is we help clarify really what the brand is all about. We take the first thing we do is basically we have two rooms we operate in. Room one is thinking. Room two is creating. And to access anything in room two, you got to go through room one. And room one starts with brand clarity. So we have a framework I've developed as a result of all the frustrations a graphic designer or marketing team might go through with clients derailing things based on just ego and whim and this and that, right? So what I strive to do before I started Propr was to make the conversation and focus about what's best for the brand and what's best for the future customer. And when you make it about that, there's a separation from the individual and the ego. And then we can make better decisions, and it really empowers all folks involved with the company to say, like, okay, we know what's best for the brand here. Or is that really what's best for the brand? Is that really what's best for the customer? So clarifying that, to be able to not just ask that question, which takes a lot of guts to ask it, but it requires an immense amount of clarity and focus to answer it. And that's what we want to do. So once we know who the brand is, right, we're looking in the mirror really hard, and we're being honest and asking really deep questions and diving, really under the skin. A little bit of therapy is involved with that. We look at the customer, and we empathize and map out what the customer cares about. So we're aligning our purpose and values with the customer's purpose and values, and that makes us likable. That makes us relatable. That makes us more than a commodity. So we know who we are. We have clarity on us. We know who our customers are. We have clarity on them. and then we can put together a roadmap to activate the brand. So a lot of agencies will get, a catalyst for a conversation from a prospective client and say, we need a new website, right? And what the client's doing is what they're doing is not wrong. It's just what the habit is, the tendency is to identify what they believe the problem is, and then form a committee to create, put their minds together on what the solution is. And then they're reaching out to folks like us and saying, like, are you the solution provider we want? And instead of, we want to change that paradigm and say, like, these are symptoms of something greater. Let's not focus on band-aiding these symptoms by just giving you a new website. But let's look at the causes of these problems and make them go away. But also have our sights set forward to where when we're fixing the initial issues, we're already thinking about the problems that are going to come next, right? So it's a very forward-thinking, visionary approach. Clarify, then activate, and then once we're in the activation phase, we start seeing growth.
I think that's a really. I mean, I love that the first room, the first door is about thinking, because I feel like the thinking that went into to what you just noted is key as well. I would assume, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, with the name Propr Design, that the design competency was an anchor in starting your business. You talked about the work of graphic design, and one of the first things that you just said was that growth is the result. And I think that there's a lot of us that are probably in the business of brand growth and need to define it that way, by the result, rather than, I think there's all of these little things that can be inputs that are tactics, but it can be hard to get there. And if you start the conversation out the wrong way, that can be a real challenge down the road.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And, my team reminds, well, let's go back to design. Change is in the wind. But my background is in, I was designer, art director, creative director for most of my career. When I started Propr, we really focused on thinking first. But we're very design heavy. We remain design heavy. Because that's part of activating the brand to really align the reputation you desire and you aspire for. Has to, it's a culmination of all aspects and touch points. You have to look the part, right, to be perceived that way. But to jump right into implementation or creation, even today, when we don't dig deep enough with our clients, we run into challenges and frustrations on our side as well as the client side because we don't know enough. And it's really difficult to advise, and that's really what we want to do with our clients. Is we don't want them to come to us with a problem and look at us as a solution to it. We want them to come to us and say, we're challenged, we need help. And then we're going to together go through the journey of uncovering what's causing those challenges, and then together identify the path forward to eliminate them permanently, but continue to knock down any challenges that arise, in the next sort of corporate life cycle of their business. So being able to think about the situation, dig in, really establish what needs to be solidified, what the priorities are first. It may not be that you need, $100,000 corporate website. It may need that your messaging is all wrong, or there's friction in your marketing and sales funnel that we can identify and eliminate. So it's not necessarily coming in to solve a perceived problem. It's coming in and taking a holistic, really scientific look at everything and saying, like, okay, these are the contributing factors to what's preventing you from scaling. As we remedy these situations over time, you'll start organically seeing improvement and growth.
On Brand will be right back after this. LinkedIn believes B2B marketing can be to brilliant, be to bold, and be to breakthrough. How? With a platform purpose-built to make B2B mean more for your business. A platform with tools to help you build better relationships with your key customers, to boost your buyer journey while building your brand. A platform with the trusted data and lead generation you need to beat KPIs, drive ROI, and stand out amongst the competition. And with the targeting tools on LinkedIn, you can reach your precise audience right down to their job title, company name, location, and more, to make sure your ads are always being seen by those who matter. So get ready to boldly go where no marketers have gone before, because LinkedIn is where B2B is everything it can be. Rethink your B2B marketing LinkedIn ads and get a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply.
Investors need to keep their finger on the pulse of change. Are we on the verge of a wage increase spiral? How is private capital changing the landscape for small firms? Can investors avoid greenwashing in their ESG exposure? Welcome to Season 2 of The Outthinking Investor, an award-winning podcast from PGIM. Subscribe to PGIM's The Outthinking Investor today for these insights and more.
This podcast is intended solely for professional investor use. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results.
Now, back to the show. Speaking of bold claims and growth, talk about your new book, and I love the title here too, Build Your Brand Like You Give a Shit. Mostly, I love a lot of things, but it gives me the opportunity to say in a serious interviewer voice, talk to me about giving a shit.
Giving a shit, right? So I'm a West Philly born and raised guy. I live in Baltimore, so I'm just like a rough around the edges person, and I embrace that. That's me, right? But what do you give a shit about, right? When you think about it and close your eyes, it's something that you care deeply about. And when you think about your brand, your company, your organization, your people, like, what do you really give a shit about? And like, where you be willing to fight for that? What's the one thing that you won't stand for? And when you think about your brand, right? So many of us are inundated with just information and media and nonsense that these gimmicks and hacks are going to be the path towards success. And that's not true. It takes commitment, right? So you should care about your brand, right? You should just give up on the overnight success fallacies, the I alone can do it fallacies, just all that, I know what I'm doing fallacy, right? One thing I learned when sort of a reluctant entrepreneur at first, within sort of the first 4 years of business, that no one knows what they're doing, right? Which is great, because the ones who own that and say, I can't wait to learn more, are the ones that are going to be truly successful and very fulfilled in business and in life. But, it's really caring about it and committing to doing it the right way. And, that's what giving a shit is for us. Giving a shit is something that you will go and fight for your brand, do it the right way. Make sure that people that are contributing to it are helping it, not hurting. And it's all about a mindset. So it's a branding book that doesn't touch anything about design. It's a branding book about mindset.
Well, and that's speaking of boldness too, and that seems like a personal challenge also from the background of design to most jump into a book project and say I'm gonna lay out my take on what my core competency is. And to jump beyond that. But maybe there's more of a connection, or maybe it's back to your two rooms, the doors of design being creating and thinking, being the mindset of giving a shit. Do I have the relationship right?
So let me tell you a story.
Great.
Before I started Propr, I worked at a e-com and an inbound agency. And I was a creative director. And I remember we were on a project with a company that sold like really fancy espresso machines. And I was there with the project manager as a friend and a colleague. And he and I were going through our process with the client. And we're doing, it's a 6-figure plus e-commerce Magento website. And we're working with the CEO. And we present him our strategy. We go through wireframes back when we used to do it like that. And then we get into the design. Well, on that call, it was like the fifth meeting. There was somebody new on the call, and it was his wife. What we found out during that call was that she designed their current website. And everything we were recommending and suggesting, she took as a personal attack. So the call was a disaster. About 20 minutes after the call, the owner of the agency, came out and started barking at us, like, "What the hell did you guys do?" We did nothing. We did nothing wrong. What happened was there was a secret decision maker, influencer,
right,
that had great power, right? Great power over her husband. We all know that dynamic. They fired us. And the reason they fired us was because it wasn't about what was best for the brand and best for the future customers. It was what's best for her. And that I'm a problem solver by nature, whether I like it or not. And I immediately said, how can I eliminate this from ever happening again? And that became my pursuit, like an immense amount of time and effort I spent researching and learning and creating different processes and discoveries and asking different questions. And initially what I was trying to do was to glean some information from the client to use against them if they said something like that. For example, if the CEO, a different company, just something fictitious, was a 60-year-old man, and they created products for 18 to 28-year-old ladies, and they said, "Oh, I don't like that." Well, I could say, "Well, it isn't about you; it's about your target audience, and based on our research and conversations together, this is what's important to them. So it should resonate with them, not you." So I want to use their words against them. But what I realized over time is that what we were doing is giving them an opportunity to think and clarify. And it gave them immense power because they could start thinking about it in a different way, just because of facilitating a question and answer and deep dive situations. So that was the proto brand clarity workshop, in 2013, I think it was. So that came with me when I started Propr, and it was something that we didn't charge clients for. And again, over time, we're refining it, improving it, Kaizen, right? Constant improvement. We're trying to make it better and better and better. We're seeing clients are using it to hire, right? Because they know what they care about. They know what's important to them. They know what they give a shit about. So they want to hire people that give a shit about the same stuff versus having the wrong person in the wrong seat or whatever. All those scenarios where The resume looked great. They're a terrible fit. Why? Right? Because they give a shit about different stuff than you give a shit about. So then it became a dedicated process or project, standalone. And I started charging for it separately. And I found it very exciting and fun. And I found, and I continue to find, the results, the transformation of the client, just absolutely fulfilling and gratifying, because they come out the other side so empowered, so energetic, so focused, because they know what's best for their brand and they know what's best for the future customer. So then the rest almost is easy because we've done our due diligence. So that part is, I don't push pixels so much anymore. There's other folks on my team that are much better than me on that at this point in my career. I help our clients clarify what their brand's all about and help them activate it for growth. And that's advising, that's talking, that's thinking, and writing, and all those things. People, old colleagues that I've known for a long time are like, "You don't design anymore?" They're like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Nope, I write, I talk," and I love it. And because I love it because the results we get for our clients, and really makes it awesome.
Well, that is an awesome story and a lesson that made me smile. But now, Bobby, it is time for me to ask you for a brand that has made you smile recently.
So I'm one of those guys that's, I guess I'm like a contrarian. So like everything anything that becomes pop culture or cool, I immediately scoff at. I grew up listening to punk rock and stuff, and I still listen to it, but like I've softened over the edges. But when I was younger, I remember thinking Seinfeld was the dumbest show ever until it was in syndication, and then I really loved it. So with that preface about how I don't think anything's cool, I not to get political, but there's a dude running for the Senate in Pennsylvania named John Fetterman. And this dude is like 6'9". He's just like this real deal guy, super smart, went to Harvard, but like he's just like he's just a Western Central PA guy. But he's cracking me up on how he's just trolling the Republican candidate, that Dr. Oz clown, all over Twitter. And I think it's just absolutely brilliant on how he's just, it's just hilariously, using sort of the Wendy's approach to trolling on Twitter. He's just doing a great job of it. And I find it really authentic as well, which makes me appreciate it. Because the other guy is just stepping in the dog crap day after day, trying to use the dirty tactics against this guy, and he's being outclassed. And I think it's just hilarious.
Awesome. That is another great smile-worthy story. Bobby, where can folks go to learn more about who you are and what you do?
I post a ton on LinkedIn. So if you want to see my point of view on things and how we're thinking, get a lot of great insights and advice that can help you be empowered and feel self-sufficient to make an impact to your brand. Check me out on Twitter. It's that Bobby G. You'll find me pretty quickly. There's a black and white picture, and you'll see all my content. And just drop a note and say how you came upon me through Nick's show, or check us out on our website, proprdesign.com. Propr spelled PROPR. There's no E there. Propr Design. So check us out there, those two places.
Awesome. Well, we'll link up to all of that in our show notes at onbrandpodcast.com. Bobby G, thanks for being on brand with us.
This was a lot of fun. It was my pleasure, Nick.
On Brand is part of the Marketing Podcast Network. If you like what you're hearing, if we've made you smile, you can always listen free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite platform may be. And please take a moment and rate and review the podcast to help others find the show. Until next week, I'm Nick Westergaard, and I'll see you on the internet.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.